good morning, everybody. And look at that. We fast forward to Friday. Back in the studio for our Berkshire Hathaway bi-weekly podcast, realty expert John Brodeen
Hello, John.
is back in the house. Hold on.
I love it. Can we do that every time?
We could. We could. I have the technology now. How's the last couple of days gone for you there, buddy?
It's been good. Yeah, busy week.
Yeah. Would you rather have a real busy week or not?
Busy week.
Yeah. It goes by quicker.
If I've been busy for, really busy for a couple months in a row, I start to kind of miss the times when it's real slow, but it's a lot more nerve-wracking when you're slow.
Oh, I would imagine. Yeah. I would imagine. Now, there's been something I have wanted to ask you or any other realty expert from Berkshire Hathaway, and I keep forgetting. But, you always hear about specials.
Yes.
When you're going to buy a house, well, they've got these specials. Now, I don't even really know what a special is, but it seems like a lot of people are afraid of the word specials. So I want you to tell me what a special is, and should you be afraid of them?
Okay, so I'll first tell you what are specials. We'll start with that.
Okay.
So when they do it, every house in Grand Forks had specials at one point in time. That's something that people don't know. When they do a brand new development, in order to, the street lights, the new streets, the sewers, the utilities, gas, electric, all of that costs a lot of money. Specials are the cost of all that gets split up amongst each lot in the development.
Yeah, somebody's got to pay for it.
Yep, and then it gets passed along to the homeowners, and they pay it off as a part of their property taxes. So you'll have your typical property taxes, and then you'll have your yearly specials until those loans to the city are all paid off for your infrastructure and your development. Okay,
so I would imagine like an older, more well-established neighborhood maybe won't have as many specials compared to, say, like if there's a new development going on a certain edge of town. Well, that means new streets, new pipes, new everything.
Exactly.
So specials, I would imagine, would be a little bit more in a newer place, or am I wrong?
Correct. Yep. It's usually once you get homes that are over 20 years old, it's less common for them to have specials. You'll have some specials in certain neighborhoods from when they redid the streets. Let's say they had to repave the streets, or let's say they had to put in new storm sewers or something.
Yeah, so I suppose the really older neighborhoods, you might run into some more specials.
And they're going to be very small in comparison to the specials paid when they first develop an area. Like when they did the LED street lights, you probably got a small amount assessed to you there. And people say, should I be scared of specials? No, you just need to know what they are. If you don't know what they are, they might look like a hidden cost. Let's say you're looking at homes in the $270,000 price range, and you see a new home listed at $270,000. But here's the thing: it's got $30,000 in specials, so it's really a $300,000 home. But if you're looking at $300,000 homes, yes, you do want to look at that $270,000 house with $30,000 in specials. Your payment on that $270,000 house will be the same as like a $300,000 house, but there's also benefits to getting a house with specials in a new neighborhood, because you're going to have all brand new streets, you're going to have brand new storm sewers, brand new lights. All that stuff is going to last for a very long time.
Less chance of failure.
Yeah, less chance of failure.
Yeah, I mean, some of these neighborhoods, the stuff under the ground has been there for a while.
Exactly.
And if something goes, well, again, to get it fixed, somebody's got to pay for it.
Yep.
Now, with specials, is that something that is listed? Is that something you talk about? I suppose you would, because you mentioned that word, hidden costs.
Yeah.
And so this is something that comes right out then, that you tell them right away.
Right away. Yep. If you're looking at a house that's, maybe it's 10 years old, so maybe the houses in that neighborhood have, started with 20,000 in specials. Now they've got maybe 10,000 in specials or something like that. But you have to look at what the amount is, because it's going to change your payment. So, if I know somebody's max is $280,000, before we look at a $280,000 house that has 20,000 in specials, I need to tell them, hey, this might not fit into your budget. It's not going to fit into your budget. And some people might say, oh, why are the specials so high? Well, it is expensive to put in all that infrastructure. And if you see a neighborhood where the specials are a brand new neighborhood where the specials are lower, all that means is the original developer paid off a chunk of the specials on every single one and is probably just building that into the price of the lots or into the price of the homes. The way that you do it doesn't really matter. Now, here's something for homeowners. So we get asked this every now and then, should I pay off my specials? It might sound good. Oh, yeah, my house has no specials. I paid off the specials. Let's say every other house in the neighborhood has, let's say you bought the house for $280 and it started with $20,000 in specials, and all the other houses in the neighborhood are roughly in the same range with the same amount of specials. So if I pay that entire $20,000, I've got $20,000 that I want to, put towards something. I pay off the entire balance of the specials, and then I'm going to be selling my house soon. Well, I'm going to need to sell it for at least $300,000 in order to recoup that money that I put into the specials. And a buyer might see value there, but again, you're trying to sell your house for $300,000. All the other comps have sold at $280, and you need that appraiser to give you dollar for dollar of what you put into the specials. And I've talked to a few different appraisers, and each one they kind of have different opinions on it. Not all appraisers will give dollar for dollar value on the specials. So now you need your house to appraise for $20,000 higher than all the other ones. That's no guarantee. So it's a safer bet if all the other houses in your neighborhood have specials, put that money towards your mortgage instead of your specials, because it's less of a risk.
Okay. Now, this might sound like a really dumb question, but say you pay your house off.
Yes.
Would it be smart to not pay the specials and just pay the house off, or are you better off just getting it all done?
Depends how long you're going to live there. If you're going to live there for a long time, if you're going to live there for as long as it would take to pay the specials off to begin with, yes, then pay them off. Doesn't matter for you either way.
Okay.
Because the comps are all going to have paid off specials by the time you sell anyway.
Okay, and another dumb question possibly here for you, John. Say your mortgage is $2,000 a month.
Sure.
And you have $20,000 in specials. How much of a difference does that make on your mortgage? Can you come up with that number, or even maybe in the ballpark?
Question. That's a good question. It might be it's pretty common. Let's say there's 20,000 in specials. Let's say 25,000 in specials. It might be pretty common for it to be like 3,000 a year.
Okay.
Or something like that.
Okay. Yeah. So it's really not that noticeable. And
not insane. It's the same amount as if you jumped up on a mortgage payment. Usually,
okay,
in line with if you jumped up in a mortgage payment $20,000 in sale price.
So basically, with specials, you get what you pay for.
Yep. And I'm oversimplifying this.
Sure.
There's if you really wanted to dig into the numbers, you could get the exact. But just for sake of making it as easy to calculate as possible, that's a good way for people to look at it.
So basically, rule of thumb, the more specials, probably the newer the place is, the newer the neighborhood is, everything.
And you might see a neighborhood where one house has $20,000 in specials, and then the neighboring house has $35,000, and neither of them ever paid down any of the specials. The reason for that is the amount of specials is calculated based on how big your lot is.
Okay.
So bigger lots are going to have more specials. They're going to get levied more responsibility for that infrastructure that went in.
Even though they're all in the same neighborhood. So you shouldn't be afraid of specials.
No, you just need to know what they are, and you need to know your budget. And tons and tons of people where they want to look in the $300,000 price range should be looking at those $280,000 houses with $20,000 in specials, because you're getting a brand new house. The neighborhoods are very nice. Less and less to worry about when you get that new of a house.
Yeah.
There's tons of positives to it. So just because a house has specials doesn't mean you should rule it out.
Okay. So again, getting back to say you move into an older neighborhood, no specials, but you're taking that chance.
Yeah.
It's like owning a car. You get up to that close to 200,000 miles or whatever, and you've had great luck with the car the years you owned it. But it's getting about that time where something could happen, and it probably won't be a cheap fix.
Yeah.
So it's better off to have just that safety in your mind, knowing, well, we should be good. I mean, we should be good for as long as we live in this house.
And when you talk about that, we're talking more about house stuff rather than, because let's say they do have to repave your street. it's not going to be very expensive per person, specials wise. But when you're talking about old house stuff, that's where it could get really expensive.
Yeah, I mean, they might have to break up your driveway. They might have to dig out your yard. And pretty soon you have got a very big, expensive mess.
Yep, exactly.
Oh.
Which one? Okay, am I good now?
You're
so
good now.
basically, when the time does come when I do move out, should I make aware of those specials? Should I be looking for that,
You should
basically?
be aware of it. Yep. And,
Okay.
And then when you first start looking is when you can get let down the easiest, because you start looking and you see these amazing new construction houses for $240,000, and just keep in the back of your mind when you see a new construction house, there's that extra cost. It's not a hidden cost as long as you're in the know.
Okay.
So yeah, no reason to be scared of them.
Do you know something I don't know or what?
I don't. It just, I mean, I'll be moving out eventually. I don't know when, but I mean, I didn't know about the whole special thing. So if this
now
is
you
something
know.
I'll keep aware of that. So
You know,
Now
we
you know more than the average person.
yeah, we might know a couple of pretty good realty experts that you could
Yeah.
probably get a hold of.
yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. So what's the market like in Grand Forks now, John?
Very good. Yeah, it's still. When I looked, I think there were already 40 some pendings that had gone through in January, which is a good month for January. Under 160 listings on the market. Lots of activity, low inventory. Same thing. Even for this time of year, it's things are going fantastic.
How about you? Are you showing a lot of places right now?
Yeah, I think I'm gearing up to have a really busy winter and spring.
Okay.
I can kind of tell already. It's getting it's getting busy already. So I hope this helps people understand a little bit more about how specials work and what they are, because it is something where I get somebody who would love to have a new home and they just don't want a house with specials. You can't really get those two things. And if you got something with no specials and it's new, it just means the price is built in to the house. There's no free lunch to have all brand new infrastructure.
So do you think this actually will change somebody's mind? Say they're looking, I like to use like the Riverside Park area.
Yeah.
It's a good older established neighborhood.
Yes.
Do you think specials are enough to change somebody's mind? Maybe they found a place they really like down in the older neighborhoods. Would that change their mind enough to move maybe to a new house on the south end?
The people who like those Riverside Park neighborhood houses, you love the charm of an old house. You love the tall trees in the neighborhood, the super established neighborhood. So it's really two completely different things. I mean, sometimes there are a lot of people out there who love the old houses. They love the charm of a Reeves Drive neighborhood or a Riverside Park neighborhood, and they wouldn't move for the world. So I think you might be talking about two different types of home buyers.
Okay.
But you do see people change. I mean, it happens all the time. So some people are really stuck on the old house charm. Other people are like, well, the old houses do come with their inconveniences. The layouts on these new homes are fantastic. They're the most efficient layouts, huge closets, big bathrooms, open living spaces, nice big garages, wide, large lots.
Well, let's face it, people are not getting smaller with history. I mean, when I look at my dad, the average height back then was probably about 5'10".
Yeah.
Now 5'10", you're not very big for a guy.
Yeah.
My first house that we bought in Grand Forks, narrow, tiny little staircases, small bathrooms, everything like that. And that's when you start to notice, wow, these old houses aren't that big.
No.
And then when I moved into my new house, completely different. But I also, this brings me to some people we know, bought a new house. The new one's across from the Alaris.
Okay.
Across the field there.
Yep.
Nice new neighborhood, nice new houses. I don't think they lasted 2 years, and they ended up moving down in Riverside area because they said that the house had no charm. It's like it didn't have its own identity, kind of thing. And they're way happier now. I mean, they got a smaller house, smaller everything, but they're glad they made the move. So everybody's a little different.
It's all about what you make it to. And the other thing is, like you're saying, people aren't getting smaller. The amount of stuff we have is not getting smaller either. So you see the garages get bigger. You see the closets. The closets, when you look at a 1940s home compared to something built after 2010, the closets are so much bigger. Walk-in closets everywhere, tons of extra storage.
I mean, closets are big enough now you can make a bedroom out of them, of some of these.
Them.
Yeah.
I've seen them. Seriously.
And I would always, I keep saying I want a bigger garage or another garage.
Yep.
But then again, all that's just, it's just like an extra storage closet for me, but with bigger crap and more crap.
Yeah. You're not going to get an attached 3-stall garage, I don't think, anywhere in one of those 1945 and older neighborhoods.
Yeah.
I mean, there might be a handful and a couple here and there, but
You'd probably have to add on to the back of the garage or something because,
Yeah.
a lot of the yards aren't that big either. And I suppose there's ordinances and variances where you have to stay so far away from the neighbors or whatever.
yeah. And the other thing people really like is they do the the nice floor drains and the high garage ceilings in these 3-stall garages. That's a big difference between like the 70s, 60s garages versus these new ones.
Yep. I used to actually build garages for a living.
Okay. So what's up.
And we always built our garages on one layer of block.
Oh.
Just to bring them up a little bit.
Yep.
Especially if you're in a city and your garage is in the alley. Well, you know what happens when they plow snow?
Yep.
A lot of that snow gets piled up against the side of your garage, and that's when you start to get rotting wood and all of that stuff. So there's a lot of things to really look for. And you've pretty much made it obvious. Specials is just part of buying a home.
Yep.
And don't be afraid of them.
Don't be afraid of them. Figure it into your budget. Look at it with a level head. Be open-minded with it. If you don't want a new house, you don't want a new house. If you want a new house, you just need to budget accordingly. And you can get all the benefits of brand new infrastructure, wider streets, all this nice stuff. It comes at a cost. You need to know what you're looking at. But educated buyers know this and they budget accordingly. So,
How many houses are you currently showing?
oh man, I've got a few today. Had a few yesterday. It varies a lot. You might have a day where you've got nothing and it's all paperwork at the office, and then you might have a day where you show 8 houses to 3 different buyers.
So what are your weekends like then, John? Do you get stuck working a lot, or do you try to spend more home time on the weekends, or whatever it takes?
Yeah, I do I do spend more home time on the weekends. I'm, like I said, more on the side of being a listing agent, and that gives me a little more flexibility over my time, and I can get a lot done just from my laptop. I'm not out in the field quite as much as if I was doing 75% of my transactions from buyers. So it is nice. I've basically, aside from some exceptions, don't work a whole lot of weekends, and I haven't for like the past couple years, but I'll work like crazy during the week.
Yeah, and the only reason I'm asking, when I used to work construction years ago, you worked so many hours, you wouldn't even have time because this was before internet and you could pay bills online. You couldn't do that back then, and a lot of our guys would get in trouble with bill paying because nothing was ever open.
Yeah.
I mean, they couldn't even make it to a bank to cash a check to go make a payment, and that's why I was asking about the weekends.
Yeah. Well, I'm paying my bills if that's what you're at. It's just
But I would imagine if somebody called you on the weekend, you'd be there.
Oh, yep. And we work with we're flexible. I get to know their schedule. We figure out what works best for them, and yeah.
And you're prepared for it. You're ready to go.
Yep. Exactly.
So if somebody does want to call you on a weekend,
yeah, they can call me on a weekend. 701-213-5428.
so you got big plans for the weekend, John?
Well, since we were gone last weekend, I think we're going to lay low this weekend and probably make a nice little dinner for ourselves. And
Gonna eat some fresh crappie, are you?
know that my buddy's got it all. Maybe I'll have to hit them up for it.
I'd be all over that.
Yeah.
Hey, thank you very much, John Brodeen.
Yes. Thanks for having me.
There you go, realty expert John Brodeen telling you all, if you're looking to buy a house, don't be afraid of specials. You need to get a hold of John Brodeen. His number is 701-213-5428. And that's going to wrap it up for the week. Your Berkshire Hathaway bi-weekly podcasts with realty expert John Brodeen. And again, thanks, John, and everybody have yourself a great weekend. We'll have that next Berkshire Hathaway bi-weekly podcast next Wednesday.